more about the guy who came out number 2 in the draft right after Caleb. It affects him. Does holding out ruin a player's performance? Because Scary Terry was amazing last year. He helped, the Commanders' offense. It helped it hum. The quarterback did amazing last year, and now you can't blame him. Scary Terry, he's trying to get his first big contract. He also knows it's going to be his last contract, his last chance to get $60 million.
Yeah.
It's the first time he's ever had a real quarterback, honestly. But when you look at statistically, does that ruin a player's performance? And does that kind of ruin the chances for the team? Or do you believe that they'll be able to get the regression back? It'll take them 12 weeks to get them back on, back up to where they were, and then they'll be fine for the playoffs. So if you were a GM, Dougie, do you think does holding out ruin a player's performance and the teams for the year?
I do, but I think it depends on the team. When you talk about someone like Scary Terry, who is just like a guy that shows up when the lights are on, I'm not too worried about someone like him. But like overall, I would say yes. But like I just think that Scary Terry is one of the guys that he's a top level player. You could pull him off the street and he'd be catching touchdown passes in the back of the end zone. That's just what I envision. That's why Scary Terry wants this money, because he's just like, hey, without me making these plays, you can have the best quarterback back there, Jaden Daniels, all you want. We ain't going to win playoff games against big teams. I'm the guy that you go to when you need that play, right? You have to have those guys on these championship level teams that you're competing with. And I think I just love Scary Terry. I think he's just like an awesome player. So I wouldn't be too worried about him. But at the same time, he's getting kind of older. So like I'm a little bit on the fence here, thinking like it could affect him this year.
Yeah, so you think he's a little bit older, so for him to get back up to game speed, it might take a little bit longer, so he's going to take a step back. Do you think that'll be detrimental to the team?
Well, the thing is that the AFC East might be hard.
NFC
East. If Parsons comes back, if our quarterback we just drafted in fantasy, Dak, throws for like 5,000 yards, the NFC East and the Giants, like if their defense turns on, their defense is really good. It might be way harder to make it as deep as they did last year. Especially because teams know what to expect from Jaden Daniels and they can game plan for him better. So if I'm a Washington Commanders Redskins fan, I might be a little bit unhappy right now. I might be a little bit worried.
Okay. How do you think it affects Micah Parsons this year, Neckbeard?
That's a tough one. Mike is at camp. So he's holding out, but he's at camp. Terry's not at camp, right? Is Scary Terry at camp? I don't think he is.
I think he was holding in, and then they took him off the pup. So now he's getting the fines every day, I believe.
Right, yeah. So do I think it has a negative effect? Yeah. Yeah. The NFL's hard, man. Like getting timing down with your quarterback, getting timing down with your teammates. You've been off for 6 months. You haven't done anything for 6 months. And now you got to play 6 months of football. And if you're one step behind in this league, like you're a mile behind, right? Like it's so fast. Everything happens so quick. Look, okay, let's talk about.
So do we think it has a larger impact then on defense versus offense?
No.
On offense versus defense.
Oh yeah. It's bigger on offense because offense is more about timing. It's way bigger on offense. And like, I think Scary Terry is good enough where he could come back in, and I don't think there's going to be a huge dip. I think it's just marginal. I don't want to speak to the effect on the team because I think every player is different. I think every player has a different effect on the team. Like I think when teammates see a guy like Terry hold out, like they respect him because he deserves his money.
Oh yeah,
and like, do you know what I'm saying? And then there's situations like Le'Veon Bell, who sat out forever and came back, and he was never the same. Right. He was never the same. Do you know what I mean?
But then also on the flip side, let's look at the Cincinnati Bengals. They had Jamar Chase.
Yeah,
he said out their offense stunk for the first month. It cost them a chance at the postseason.
It did. Now Jamar and Joe Burrow though also had that timing at LSU and years before. Like their connection is like next level. So like I don't think that gets affected as much, right? Like that's a little bit different. But
okay,
when you're a team like the Commanders on the rise, I don't necessarily want to say it's going to have a negative effect because I don't know what Terry's like in the locker room, but I can say that like it's going to put you a step behind. It just does. But I don't blame Terry for doing it. I think Terry absolutely deserves it.
Do you think Terry has the VR goggles on? He's like training in the locker room. You know,
I don't know, man. He's probably watching those Ohio State highlights from last year, but I don't know what he's doing. But all I know is Terry has had an unfortunate quarterback career, and he finally didn't have an unfortunate quarterback, and just look at how good he was. And again, this is a rookie quarterback. This isn't even like, as much as everyone wants to say Jaden Daniels is a top 10 quarterback for sure, we don't even necessarily know that. He could be different this year, but he was just lights and days better than every other quarterback Terry had, and Terry was unbelievable. So yeah, Terry, this is the time to get your money. Go get it, man. And if you don't have great numbers this year, you know, it happens sometimes. I still wouldn't be mad at him. But yeah, is there a negative effect? Absolutely. There's absolutely a negative effect. It's just, I think every player and team is different. Like Doug said, it's really hard to tell which ones are going to be affected. But
yeah, because for CD, when he was only, the Athletic ran an article today where they said CD led the NFL in receptions in 23 with 135. He has 50 yards and 1 touchdown shy of leading the NFL in receiving and touchdowns too. And it was the last year of his contract year.
Yep.
And then he held out, and then, you know, until Jerry Jones contract negotiation. So waits until the last minute, and then the following year, good numbers, 101 catches for almost 1,200 yards and 6 touchdowns.
But
oh yeah, and that's where I think, you know, if you're talking about a younger player, maybe it might have more of an impact.
I think so.
But for if it's an older vet, I think that you're not as worried because they know how to take care of themselves in the postseason or in the off season. Scary Terry, he's amazing. It's wonderful, and I really think that we like what this ownership group has done compared to the previous one. We like the GM and everything else, but we think this is the one place where they're stubbing their toe. And they're like, granted, Terry wasn't your guy; he was more of a legacy, but pay the man his money. That's going to get you all of the goodwill that you want with all of your young players moving forward.
And if you pay Scary Terry, I don't think you have to worry about him declining or not playing hard. He's a guy that shows up and makes the big plays. He's going to be awesome for you. So if any player in the league, I would pay that guy.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why GMs are doing what they're doing with older players. I get it. The Packers did it with Devontae. You know, they still wanted to pay him, but not as much as he wanted. And they gave him, you know, the contract too late. So he went to the Raiders. You know, it's paying older guys in the NFL is risky. It's risky, but I agree with you, Dave. I think Terry's earned it, not even just from the numbers standpoint from last year, but just what he's dealt with on the Commanders. Like he is I think the longest standing player on that team. Right. So, or maybe there's a alignment or two there, but I mean, he's got to be big in that locker room, I would just imagine. So I think those guys want him to get paid. So yeah, hopefully they figure it out, but yeah, definitely going to have a negative effect.